Alright, this is Andrew with Joda Home Inspections. We are doing a sewer scope today here in Magna. We're at 3111 Jean Street, and we have the camera pushed out 111 feet to the city connection. Today is May the 6th, 2026, and now we're going to pull the camera back and see what we find. So that first connection point is called the nose on. That's where it goes from your lateral line into the main city line, and it looks like a good connection there. I think this is transite pipe from what I can tell so far. A little bit of standing water. What we don't want to see is standing water that's covering my camera head. Tiny bit is okay, but if it starts to cover my camera head, that's bad enough grade that it can start to allow waste to build up. There we go. Starting to go underwater there at 96 feet. Not for very long, so that's good. But when you have standing water, grease can settle, and that makes a sticky spot where bigger pieces of waste can build up. And if enough waste gets stuck, that can create a blockage where it backs up into the house. So far, those look like minor amounts of standing water. Well, it did. I would consider this to be a lot more than minor. I'd say that's moderate. We can't see what's going on there when I'm underwater. We can't see if there's a root causing that. I don't think it's a root. I think it's purely bad grade. If you have roots, usually I'll feel them as I'm pushing the camera out, and that's not something that I noticed. This is cast iron. At least a section of it, so that was probably a clean out. Cast iron gets real rough and rusty. It will eventually need to be replaced. We're going to see a lot more cast iron under the house. With cast iron, you can get it cleaned. You can see how rough this is. And that's a good idea for a couple of reasons. First, it smooths it out and makes it less likely for waste to get stuck. Next, once it's been cleaned, you can evaluate it again and get a better idea of the overall condition. Kind of a catch-22 because you want to clean it to prevent blockages, but when you clean it, if it's thin enough, it can blow a hole through it and require a bigger repair now. So it is kind of a catch-22, but I would recommend cleaning it, but know that there is some inherent risk in that. This is a pretty rough cast. I've certainly seen better, but I think it would also look a lot better if it were cleaned. I would recommend the insurance on this line. I have been going in and out of water a little bit, never for more than 10 feet. Usually it's only a few feet at a time, but again, we talked about how that's not perfect grade, and so that can cause backups. I would recommend the insurance. HomeServe is a real popular one, and that would help offset the cost if or when there's a bigger issue. They don't cover what's under the house, and so it wouldn't necessarily address any of the cast iron, but if you have a backup, they will come clear it, and if you have a big enough issue outside the house, they can put money towards having it repaired. I think the next step would be to have this line cleaned and then evaluate it again. Mostly the cast iron is what you want to have cleaned. The transite looked okay. except for the standing water, but I didn't see any roots. I didn't see any significant offsets, so it was doing okay in that way, but definitely some pretty rough cast iron that could be cleaned now. I'm going to end this recording now.